got a question, just kind of an overall arching question about business brokering itself and the trends. I've heard and I've seen that owners are starting to be more proactive in that space themselves. Is that, does anyone have any experience with that? Or do they see any of that happening? With the high degree of tech and so forth that it's available out there, and the ease of maybe even coming up with a sim or something, or going on to biz buy sell. And now I'm not saying that we're not needed. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just asking if you see a trend of people, business owners, trying to list their own business more than they used to.
I haven't personally seen that. I mean, there's always, you go out to biz buy sell, there's always for sale by owners out there. There are always
Yeah.
people that are going to do that, but I haven't seen or had any business owner say to me, no, I'm selling my own business. Because I mean, there's just a lot of moving parts to it. I think maybe it would depend on the size of the business. Probably you might see that a little bit more in smaller businesses, but I don't know.
Okay. I decided I'd ask.
Well, I haven't seen that, but anybody
Yeah.
else seen seen anything looks
I
like a shift?
I have a customer. He advertised himself on Bid by Sale. However, he could not sell it, so he called me and he told me, Diane, I did advertise by myself, but I'm unable and I am too busy. So can you help me? I said, okay. So I help him. He did try himself first, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I think though it brings up a point that I don't know if it's a good point, but how do you sell yourself as a business broker? You know, why does a business owner need you? Why should they pay you your fee? Um, you know, what is it that you do that they can't do themselves? Business owners by nature, entrepreneurs, they don't see any limits to their abilities. We do know though that they work in their businesses, not on them. I mean, that's obvious most times, especially they're just busy and they've never sold the business before. It's a skill set they don't have. Do they want to do it themselves? Do they want to get all these phone calls? Do they want it, others to know that it's for sale? And so I'm just saying you have to have this kind of in your pocket a little bit why they would hire you and pay you to do something like this.
Yeah.
Uh, but anyway, just rambling here a little.
Yeah, it's you're right. Depending on the type of business it is and the marketing that's out there, you could get 10 calls a week. You could
Yeah.
get 2 calls a week. You could get 100 calls in a week. So, yeah, I think business owners, they've got to be prepared for that. What are they going to do if they get inundated?
Yeah. Now, how are they going to handle those buyers? How are they going to vet them? How are they going to interface with them? What are they going to say to them? You know, all those things.
I mean, and what's the point of, I mean, you can still have them sign a confidentiality agreement before you provide them with financials, I guess. But clearly, if they're talking to the business owner, they already know the name of the business and who they're talking to. So
Yeah.
confidentiality is kind of somewhat of a joke at that point.
Well, you know that a lot of business owners sell their own businesses, try to do that. And so I guess whether it's a trend moving towards that or if it's just always been there, there's a lot of businesses. I mean, even you get the stats. There's about 20 million, 30 what is it? No, 32 million. 32 million businesses out there that are considered small, 500 employees or less, 20% of which, 7 million, which would be give or take on the market and at any given time. Well, there's not enough brokers to go around for all that. So we know that there are a lot of them, probably a large percentage, are for sale by owner, or they're just talking to their friends. I got a call the other day, and a guy wanted a valuation. He had the buyer, or he had a company he wanted to buy. He wanted a valuation of that company. I said, "Well, I'll do it for free. I'm not going to charge you to do that. You just come to me, and I'll help you do that." Now, someone could have charged. I said, "I'm not in that business. I'm in the business of selling businesses. So, but I would help you because I just would. But there are a lot of those. I'm thinking it was an architectural landscaping business buying another related business. And it was a friend of his, but he didn't know how to do it. Now, I
Yeah.
didn't get a listing out of it. I don't expect to, but there's a lot of that goes on, I'm sure.
Well, and there's a lot of businesses that are not saleable. I mean, and we know that either they're not making money or
Yeah.
got a phone call yesterday. I spent some time with this person who owns, just spent a ton of money building out these salon suites. But, a salon suite, it's more of a real estate play than a business, quite honestly. It's like, okay, if you've got 15 suites, then as soon as you have them rented out, you're done. You have no capacity to increase revenue. And buyers want to, I mean, most buyers are looking for a business they can grow. So there's nothing that can be grown short of going out and buying another space somewhere and leasing, cutting it up, leasing it out. And it was in this particular instance, it was problematic. She didn't own the property. The landlord wasn't really taking care of the property very well. She had a triple net lease. There were homeless people around, and so some of her tenants were leaving because they didn't like the homeless people hanging out in their windows. So just this whole thing, and it was like, okay, I'm sorry, but there's really nothing
Yeah.
that's saleable here. It's
Yeah.
just not anything that can be sold, or at least not by me. Maybe somebody can do it, but yeah, I'm not taking that on. So
That's a good distinction, though. It's confusing for people. Is it a business or is it real estate? Now, it's clear to me that it's real estate play. It's like a rental property. Yeah,
yeah.
it's something they've worked out. But yeah, that's interesting. So how do you say no, Tanya? Kind of heard how you did it, but uh,
I just education, right? So I asked her how much. I said, "Look, it sounds like you're not making a lot of money here." She said, "What are you making every month?" And right now, with the tenants that just left and the other ones that are vacant and this and that, maybe it's, you know, breaking even or making a couple of grand a month. And I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, businesses tend to be sold on a multiple of earnings." I said, "How much are you looking to get out of this? If you were to sell it, what would you be looking to get out of it?" And she said, "Well, I'd at least like to get some of the money back that we put into it because we financed all our own, um, TIs, tenant improvements and everything." She said, "We've got a lot of money in it, but if I could get 150,000 out of it, then, I'd be pretty good." And so I just did the math for her. I said, "Well, here's the thing. If it was completely full and based on the rent that you told me you have and your utilities and all of that, let's say you were able to make, or let's say it was making, $5,000 a month clear, you're looking at 60 grand a year." And I said, "A business making 60 grand a year is probably going to sell for a multiple of about a 1.5. So you'd probably be getting somewhere between 75 and $90,000 for that business. You're not going to be, and that's if it was full, and if it was fully rented and generating revenue, which it's not." So I said, there's just not really a way that this is going to be saleable for anywhere close to the 150,000 that you're looking for right now.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's a good service. You were kind of, you did a little surgery and you gave them, um, you dug in there a little bit and found the problems and told them some of their problems. I think that's very valuable to them as sellers.
Yeah, and I told her, I said, you're basically telling me you want to sell this to get out from under a headache with your property manager and the homeless people and this and that. And I said, but from a buyer's viewpoint, why would they want to buy that? Why would they want to come in and buy and pay you good money to buy your headache?
Exactly.
So,
No, that, yeah,
yeah, so I try and be kind but straightforward at the same time and use a little bit of humor now and then. And,
it's a good bedside manner. Yeah, that's what
I
that.
try. But
That's
the
what.
reality is they do need education, right? And business owners in general, most of, there's all kinds of courses out there on starting a business. You can go to SBA or small business development centers and all that. You can take courses on starting a business, growing a business. They don't have anything on exiting a business or structuring it for an exit. And most people don't think about it. And so now there's a lot more courses, a lot more information on exit planning and things to do if you want to sell your business or how to position it for sale. There's a lot more information out there, but it's still not that prevalent. So it's just education. They need it.
Well, that's been very valuable.